Hurricanes have their general manager. It is official. The Carolina Hurricanes have promoted formerly assistant general manager, interim GM, Eric Tulsky is now the full-time GM for your Carolina Hurricanes. First of all, congratulations to Eric Tulsky. There are only 32 people that have the title of general manager in the NHL. He's one of them. Congratulations, truly indeed, to Eric Tulsky, who's, by the way, been acting as the interim GM for the past 4 weeks or so since Don Waddell departed for the Columbus Blue Jackets. Don Waddell being the former team president and general manager. Personally, I like promoting from within, especially if you've had success, which the Carolina Hurricanes have had for the last 6 years, whether it's successful team, successful business. I like promoting from within because people understand your process, and those people have been part of your process, which Eric Tulsky has been. He had been a consultant with the Carolina Hurricanes starting in 2014, had some roles in terms of analytics and such starting in 2015, and also became part of the pro scouting department. And then in 2020, became assistant general manager, had a say in basically every single personnel decision that the Carolina Hurricanes have made since that time. Canes have made a lot of good ones. They're the only team over the last 6 years, the only franchise over the last 6 years in the NHL to have won a postseason round in some way, shape, or form. The only one are the Carolina Hurricanes. Again, I'll say it again. The only team in the last 6 years that has won a round in the postseason. Now, so again, I like the promotion from within. But a major question going forward, who are the Canes going to surround Eric Tulsky with? Don Waddell, gone. Don Waddell, again, part of the process of the Carolina Hurricanes and all the front office decisions. He was the front face because he was president and general manager. He was the quote-unquote, I'll say, hockey guy, right? The hockey guy. The guy that understood how to make, all right, a quote-unquote hockey trade. Hey, we're going to trade this forward for that defenseman, or this forward for that forward. For example, years ago, we saw Victor Rask traded to Minnesota. Victor Rask was a center. They brought back Nino Niederreiter. Hockey trade, right? Knew exactly in terms of, hey, in the postseason, this guy has the mentality necessary to take us where we want to in the postseason. Other than just the skills and the numbers and analytics, those kinds of things. So you remove that piece, who fills that void? That's a big question. Assistant general manager Darren York is still going to be there. Tom Dundon, the owner of the team, is part of these decisions as well. So it's always been a collective group. But who's going to be the quote-unquote, I'll say it again, hockey guy? Is it a consultant? Are you going to use Justin Williams, who's part of your organization already, to be the consultant? Be like, hey, Justin, what are your thoughts on this guy from this team? Hey, honestly, he doesn't do the hard work in the corners, that's needed in the playoffs. So I don't think he's going to be a good fit. All right, you know what? I don't think that guy's going to fit in this locker room, whatever it might be. Who's that guy? We've already seen, so again, that's my big question. Who are you surrounding Eric Tulsky with? We have seen the Carolina Hurricanes re-sign Jalen Chatfield last week. So we already know that the Canes and their front office have been negotiating with pending free agents. By the way, if you missed the conversation, we actually had Jalen Chatfield on Friday last week. Make sure you check out the Best of the Adam Gold Show podcast, wherever you get your podcast, because we had a conversation with him last week after he re-signed. So again, we know that the front office is already negotiating with free agents, with the team's free agents. Now that this is officially done, teams know it, players' agents know it. Now let's really get the work done. Tomorrow at 10 o'clock Eastern Time, the Canes will have the press conference to officially introduce Eric Tulsky tomorrow. They'll have all that stuff. But all right, let's keep getting the work done. Let's see the long-term extension for Seth Jarvis. That long-term 8-year deal, Victoria, that we want to see. Because we want to see, Victoria, Seth Jarvis here for a long, long time.
Love Jarvie. He's my fave.
He's awesome.
Yes.
That's a building block for your franchise.
Yeah, of course.
Let's see the 8-year extension done for him. So
you want him here long term.
Exactly. Let's see Jordan Martinook re-sign to come back. I said it last week. I'll say it again. Jordan Martinook is the heart and soul of your team. Fan base feels it. The locker room respects him. And also, he's a darn good hockey player. He knows his role, and he plays his role tremendously. That is a guy you need to have back on your team. The NHL draft starts on the 28th, which is Friday next week. That time, between now and then, I want to see the Jarvis extension done. The Jordan Martinook extension that he's coming back. I want to see that done. Let's see what you're going to do with Martin Necas. Are you going to trade him? Who are you going to get back in return? That all needs to be done by Friday the 28th next week. All those things I just mentioned need to be done by Friday next week. Then also when July 1st hits, which, by the way, July 1st is now 13 days away, so we're under 2 weeks. That's when NHL free agency starts. It's less than 2 weeks away. On July 1st, Jacob Slavin can sign his contract extension with the Carolina Hurricanes. I hope to see that July 1. Contract extension, Jacob Slavin, for 8 years, 7 years, however long he wants to keep playing. Want to see that deal done. Even want to see some of the other deals with, all right, are you going to do a bridge contract with Jack Drury? Some of these other things, because eventually the money goes quick. There's only so many dollars to go around. He has to make these decisions. Now, we already basically understand that forward Jake Guentzel is going to go to free agency and on July 1st and see what's out there. Elliot Friedman and a bunch of others across the NHL have said that doesn't mean that Carolina's out of it. It's just that Jake Guentzel is going to go out there and see what's available. That's fine. It's his right. Also wouldn't hurt by Friday the 28th that we hear that Jake Guentzel is coming back to the Carolina Hurricanes. Would not hurt to hear that either, Victoria.
That'd be a good thing.
That's the best winger that we've seen Sebastian Aho play with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
With all due respect to Jarvis and to Svech.
Yeah.
The best goal scorer.
They've matched up well.
Yes.
And fast, too.
We saw it.
It was like game 2 or 3 that they were clicking already.
We saw it right from the jump.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine a whole season together of those two.
That'd be great.
Let's go.
I mean, look at the Oilers. They have options. It's good to have options.
Good to have
options.
options.
So if we have great options, even better.
Good to have options.
Mm-hmm.
Eric Tulsky, if you have not heard, officially the general manager of the Carolina Hurricanes. He'll have his introductory press conference tomorrow at 10 o'clock. I'm assuming Adam will probably have Eric Tulsky on at some point this week. I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's going to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, I've already reached out to the Canes about getting Eric Tulsky on other shows that I work with and such as well. So it's going to happen. So stay locked in, wherever. Stay locked in on the Adam Gold Show. I guarantee you will hear a conversation with Eric Tulsky at some point in the very near future. So, again, Eric Tulsky, officially the general manager of the Carolina Hurricanes. Congrats. Sincerely, congrats indeed. Now let's see the rest of the work get done. We already know you've been putting in the work. Like I said, you've already re-signed Jalen Chatfield. Now let's get the Jarvis deal done. Maybe you'll get a Jake Guentzel deal done. I'm crossing fingers on that. But I want to see Jordan Martinook come back. And eventually on July 1st, I want to see that Jacob Slavin deal done for his extension too.